Forster Park and the first of our outdoor sessions with the City of Belmont.
My name's Roger Gott.
And I'm Tracy Gott.
Here in the City of Belmont, you're privileged to have lots of outdoor equipment. They're easy to use, fun to use, so come on down with your family, friends or partners to get started. But before you do, here's a few quick tips to remember.
Number 1, make sure you've been cleared by your GP to exercise. And if you've got any niggles, you need to make sure they're managed. Also, if you feel any pain or discomfort, we don't want you to proceed, we need you to stop. But let's go through some particulars about this workout.
Always remember to warm up and also to cool down. The program is set so that we want you to do each of the exercises for 30 seconds each. If you feel as though you're a little bit stronger, go for 45 seconds. Complete one full round, and then if after that you're able to, you might want to push to 2 or 3 rounds. Without further ado, let's get started and let's go into the warm-up. We're going to get started into the warm-up. I'm going to talk through the technique and what to do, and Tracy's actually going to demonstrate it. For some of you, you may walk down here to Forster Park. For others, why not take a lap around here and do a kilometre first, just to get the heart rate going. After that, we're going to get into these dynamic stretches, and they're going to be rhythmical and smooth and help prepare the body for what's about to come up. The first one we're going to do is an alternate knee lift. We're going to just lift up and make sure the opposite arm comes up as well. The reason why we're doing this is to warm up the hips, to warm up the glutes, and just to make sure that we get the whole body functioning from toes up to shoulders. We're going to make sure we do up to 10 and then swap it and do 10 to the other side. The magical number will be 10, but for some of you, if you feel a little bit fatigued, bring it down to 5. After we perform this movement, we'll take a breath, and then we're going to go into our second movement. It's called a lunge. So we're taking a step forward, imagining our feet are both on railway tracks, and as we do this, we're going to reach up to the sky. By extending up through the sky, we're actually going to feel the hip flexors working. We're going to lengthen through the torso and open up our whole rib cage. So stay balanced and alternate legs. Once again, aiming for 5 to 10 each side, going with your preference. So once you've gone through number 2, the third movement is now going to stretch through the back of the leg. We're going to reach forward and sweep the ground, and then straighten the front leg to actually stretch the back of the leg, which is the hamstring. So we're looking at functionality, pushing back, and then doing the same thing again with the opposite leg. So we sweep through, try and touch the grass, lean back, stretch the back of the leg, and then from there, step back and reach up to the sky. Forward, sweep, step back, reach up. Once again, 5 to 10 each side. The last stretch that we're actually looking at is we're going to combine 2 movements. We're going to open up our shoulders and chest with a rotation backwards. And the reason why we go backwards is that we lean forwards all day, and we want to really open up through our chest and what we call our thoracic spine. We're then going to incorporate after 5 of these into 5 squats. The most important thing is to keep the feet shoulder width apart. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes and sit down to where you're comfortable. 5 of these followed by 5 rotations with the arms going back. Complete this once again 5 times each side, making sure that on all of these you breathe, and at any time if you feel fatigued or tired, you can stop. Now we're ready to get into the workout. Let's begin. This is the first of 7 exercises that we're about to embark on. With all the exercises, we're going to do a beginner's version, and we're also going to demonstrate a progression from there. The first exercise we're going to do is called a sit to stand. And remember, with all of these, we're doing them for 30 seconds. The sit to stand simply involves you getting into a shoulder width position with the feet, knees tracking over the toes, and finding a bench of a height which allows you to sit down on. Lowering your bottom to the rear, you're going to sit down gently, and then you're going to push back up, keeping your hands in front of you, with all the strength coming from the legs. Lowering the body down, chest stays up so you can see the beautiful scenery in front, and then pushing up. So 30 seconds worth, up and down. Now some things that could go wrong is where you start to put your hands on your legs, you start to lean forward and your knees start to buckle in. This is probably a sign of fatigue or a sign where your body is biomechanically not functioning correctly. Stop, regather yourself, set yourself slowly, and then push back up. For those of you who want to take it another step further, simply walk away from the bench and now work against gravity. Lower the bottom down and push back up. Make sure your knees are still tracking over the toes, your chest is up and you're looking straight ahead. Once again, be aware of poor technique or form and stop at any time you feel fatigued. Let's get on to exercise number 2. Exercise number 2 is a modified push-up or an elevated push-up. This is going to work the muscles of the chest, the triceps and also the core. To do this, we want to make sure our arms are shoulder width apart, and we're going to use the elevation that we have here at Forster Park with our feet back, and we're up onto the balls of the feet. We're going to lower our chest down into between our hands, and we're going to push and drive back, keeping ourselves stiff as an ironing board. The whole aim of the movement is to let it come from the upper body with no kinking in through the hips or sagging through the belly. Poor technique might look something like this, where we're actually pushing through and not really getting that upper body workout. Or we might just sag as if our hips are coming down without working that upper body. Make sure you stay nice and strong, pick something to look at, lower your body towards that and then push away. Now for those of you that feel as though that you're strong enough, we can actually use some variations that are available here within Forster Park. We now lower ourselves so we're a little bit closer towards the ground. This makes it a little bit more difficult and you'll actually feel your body weight a little bit more. Lower yourself down slowly and then drive back up. Once again, allowing your chest to come between the hands. Your body, once again, from shoulders to hips to knees to ankles is in a nice straight line. You're fixating on a point, looking at it and driving away. 30 seconds or 45 for those that want to work a little bit harder. Once again, we have another progression, which takes you a little bit lower to the ground. And this allows you now to get the full benefit of gravity and also with the feeling of the muscles through the chest, the core, the triceps, and also the front of the shoulders working as well. As you can see, Tracy's demonstrating this by lowering down under control and pushing the earth away from her rather than feeling as though she's just driving her body up. 30 seconds worth, 45 seconds if you want to work harder. We're now going to move towards the lower half of the body again, and it's a step touch. So find a bench of any height that allows you to touch with alternate feet. Allow yourself to stay upright and remain balanced as the alternate foot touches the step in front of you. Perform this for 30 seconds. Now, if you perform it poorly, you're going to find your body's going to be tilting from side to side. You may be swaying and you may have a loss of balance and not be able to regather it. Once again, we ask you to stop, regather yourself and come back and connect to the movement. If you want to work a little bit harder, allow yourself to step up all the way and push your head up to the sky. Alternate feet and make sure the action allows you to have the knee traveling over the toe once again. Poor technique with this will result in you swaying from side to side, putting your hand on your knee to help yourself up, and even catching your foot on the step. And that may cause you to trip and even injure yourself. Be careful, allow yourself to stop, once again regather before you commence the movement again. Movement number 4 is a modified chin-up. The way we're going to perform this is with an overhand grip. We're going to allow ourselves to have our feet grounded and our body rigid from shoulders, hips, knees and ankles. From here you're going to lower yourself back. Now the good thing about having the hands up high is you're only taking around 15 to 25% of your body weight. This should allow most of you to be able to pull all the way in and control yourself back. Make sure your elbows squeeze back and the shoulder blades squeeze in as well towards the spine. By doing this movement and keeping the core tight, we work the upper back muscles and give you a balanced look at how you can perform throughout the day. We're also going to look at what might happen if you get fatigued or tired. The body will sag, and as you pull up, you're using a lot of your legs. You're not getting the benefit of working the posterior chain. You may even just be driving up and down, which is not what we call a modified chin-up. It's actually working through with your legs as a squat. The other thing is just simply pulling through. Once again, what we're looking for is to make sure that you can lower your whole body back and pull your whole body through. If you find that becomes easy, allow yourself to go to the rungs below. By doing that, you're taking a little bit more of your body weight and working against gravity a little bit harder. So right now, Tracy's feeling as though she's taking close to 30–40% of her body weight. And as she moves further and lower down, what you may notice is that more strength is required in your grip, So please only do this when you feel comfortable and you're able to perform 30 seconds worth of work comfortably. All right, our next movement is called a lunge, and this is a great movement to work through the thighs and also the glutes. The way we're going to perform this is a lunge around the clock. So Tracy's actually going to go at her 12 o'clock, and from there you're going to move your way around, lowering yourself down, keeping the knee tracking over the toe. Chest is up, core is tight. Position the angle as you actually come back and turn the whole body at 1. She's using the opposite arm to help counterbalance. Now I'm going to get Tracy to remain doing the number 3 position, come back, and we're going to show poor technique. As she steps forward, it may be an overextension, and this places some stress through the knee area and also can cause some aggravation when pushing back. She may also go down low, which is a sign of fatigue, and use the hands on the legs. Once again, we've always advocated if you feel tired or fatigued to stop. If you can though, perform it for 30 seconds, have your 15 seconds rest, and then switch to the opposite leg to make sure that everything's even. If that's all right for you and you're progressing nicely, we can actually take it up to another notch, and we can allow ourselves to elevate our back leg on a cargo net or even on a bench, allow it to be supported, and this requires a little bit more stability and balance. From here, we now allow our arms to counterbalance our body, or we could use, as Tracy was demonstrating, one hand to hold onto a pole. This places a lot more stress through the thighs and the glutes and will work them much more beneficially and allow for a much quicker result. At the end of 30 seconds, once again rest for 15 and then swap it over to the other side. This is one of the hydraulic machines that's available here at Forster Park, and it incorporates both pushing and pulling. The way it will work is that on the side here you have a dial numbered 1 to 6. 1 is easy in resistance and 6 is hard. So to begin with, we want the resistance set at 1 for both the push and the pull. To do this movement, start with the legs shoulder width apart and drive up with the legs and push forward. Make sure your hands are securely held over the handles, and allow yourself now with the pull to drive back with the legs stable and strong, elbows driving back as well. Once again, down low, drive up, step up to it, sink yourself back, squat down and pull back. Now, poor technique can involve doing a couple of the following. One is head between, slouched, rounded, and this could lead to slippage as well with not having the feet stable as your base. The other thing that can happen, as you're seeing with Tracy, is that she's rounding her back, placing a lot of stress in that lower lumbar region. So please make sure you have your feet balanced and allow yourself to drive up equally from both the left and the right sides of the body. To make this exercise harder, simply increase the resistance from 1 to 2 in either direction, and you'll find that you can work and progress at your own rate from here. Our final exercise is a sit-up with swing, which is going to work through the midsection. As you can see, Tracy secured her feet underneath the bar. From this position, she has her legs bent, and she's going to slowly lower herself down with her lower back, mid-back, upper back and head touching the bench last. She'll extend her hands overhead, and then using the momentum of her hands, swing them forward and allow herself to curl back up to that seated position. Lower yourself back down slowly, under control, extend overhead and swing forward. If you perform this movement this way, you'll find you may only get 5 or 6 reps done in the 30 seconds, which is perfectly fine. Some technique faults that may occur would be, as she goes back, she would lift her hips up and try and throw her whole body into the action. That would lead to some lower back pain. The other thing that might happen is her feet may slip or come out. Once again, that's the starting point to stop and make sure that you regather and regroup. The control that's demonstrated here is really important, and this is what's going to provide best benefits. To make it harder, we take the swing out and we simply get the hands and we put them either across the chest or to the side of the head. By doing this, we have no momentum, with all the strength coming from the midsection, with the muscles between the pelvis and the ribs. You need to then curl up, and if you can't, you know you have to revert back to the swing. 30 seconds worth and you're finished, and then we'll go over and do the cool down. So now that you've completed your workout, it's important that you allow your muscles to stretch and remove any waste products, and also allow your heart rate to come back down. If you've walked down here, do these stretches at home. All the stretches are held for 20 to 30 seconds, and make sure you breathe deeply throughout. The first stretch we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. This can be done on the ground, but as preferred, we'd like to see you do it with your leg up on a bench, toe pointing to the sky, and lean the chest forward and bend forward from the hips. Allow yourself to hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds and you'll feel the stretch at the back of the legs. Do both legs and then you can go into our next stretch, which is into the front of the thigh, which is our quadricep stretch. So finding something at about hip height, we can allow ourselves to put our foot on there, pointing the knee to the ground, and simply push the hip forward to get a stretch on that front thigh. If you don't have anything to put your foot on, you can simply grab your leg, and you might need something or someone to hold on to, and you can stretch it this way as well, 20 to 30 seconds on both sides. From here we also want to stretch our upper body, and we can do that by finding a pole. The pole can now allow us to stretch through our back. We can grip with two hands, feet close to the pole, and leaning back, that'll allow a stretch all the way from the triceps down through to the lats and the side of the body. Hold it for 20 to 30 seconds, and to get a more beneficial stretch on one side, simply hold on with one arm and then reverse it and do the same to the other. This is a really comfortable stretch and allows the muscles to elongate, and you'll feel really good at the end of it. Lastly, we're going to do a chest stretch. Holding onto the pole, we'll simply move our feet away, and we're getting ourselves to an angle that's not uncomfortable and impinges on the shoulder. This should stretch across the chest and also through the biceps and the top of the neck. Holding that for 20 to 30 seconds, releasing, and then going to the other side, walking the feet away and doing the same.
Well, I hope you enjoyed training with us today. Thank you to the City of Belmont for providing such fantastic equipment. Have some fun with it, bring your family down and make sure you enjoy the sunshine while you get healthy.